Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the West Point Association of Graduates Ring Melt Ceremony for the class of 2024. The Association of Graduates would like to extend a very special welcome to our ring donors and their families. Your generous contribution to the ring melt allows the ceremony to happen and ensures a lasting tradition. Today marks the Association of Graduates' 23rd annual ring melt ceremony. We are here to celebrate the enduring bonds of the long gray line, which stretches through years of centuries told, with an unwavering commitment to duty, honor, country.
This ring will continue to serve as a daily reminder of the sacrifices that have been made in service to our nation, and the sacrifices that we will continue to make in service to our nation and the long gray line. And may we continue to bring honor to the legacy.
In today's ceremony, the Association of Graduates is honored to have 67 rings.
Colonel Harry J. Tice, class of 1924. Colonel Thurman W. Morris, class of 1936. Placing Colonel Morris's ring into the crucible is his grandson.
It sat on my desk over the years and acted as a reminder to serve with pride and honor the legacy of those who came before us.
Colonel Claude L. Shepard, Jr. Colonel Saul A. Jackson. Colonel Cornelius J. Malloy, Jr.
Colonel Charles A. Wooster. Mr. Matthew D. Lample. Colonel Harold F. Lombard.
Colonel George M. Tronsrue, Jr.
He was commander during TET 68. His battalion got air mobiled onto the tarmac at Tonsonute and told, don't let this airfield fall, and did not let the air base fall.
I know how much he loved West Point.
Mr. Roger R. Colker.
My father loved West Point, and his tangible reminder was his class ring. He never took it off. Truth be told, there were a couple of decades where it couldn't come off.
Lieutenant Colonel Chester J. Piolnik. Lieutenant Colonel Charles D. Richards.
Colonel Charles C. Moses.
And I know he would be so proud.
Lieutenant Colonel Paul W. Tomachek, Jr.
The legacy of integrity and courage now carries on with you.
Major John W. Wood, Jr. Lieutenant Colonel Gary L. Flagg.
This is special. I know why he thought this was a special place.
Colonel Gary R. Lord.
It was my honor to complete the mission my dad asked me to do as a fellow Army officer in donating his ring today. Mission complete, Dad.
Lieutenant Colonel Dennis R. Gilson. Colonel Herbert D. Raymond III. Colonel Henry M. Dermody, Jr.
My grandfather lived his life dedicated to family, God, and country. So I can't think of a better way to carry forward his legacy than to be here with my grandmother, returning his ring to the long gray line.
Lieutenant General David J. Kelly. Lieutenant Colonel Robert L. Harris, Jr.
Mr. Ryan W. Anderson. Lieutenant Colonel Stephen M. DeCivilio.
And he just wanted people to know that he is proud to be able to do this, to forge the bond between the pride of the Corps and the class of 2024.
Mr. David R. Romer. Lieutenant Colonel Victor W. Raisky. Major Donald C. Sieber. Lieutenant Colonel John A. Van Fleet. Mr. Alejandro M. Puig.
The Legacy Gold contains trace elements of gold from 740 class rings, donated previously over the last 22 years. The Legacy Gold will be added to the 67 newly donated class rings. It will then be taken and subjected to intense fire. Then gold from 807 graduates' rings from 1896 until 2006 will meld and merge together. Later, that gold will be purified and forged into the West Point rings for the class of 2024. May the service and sacrifice of the ring donors remain physically and symbolically with the class of 2024 as they proudly wear their class rings.
As we will soon receive our class rings in August, may our rings symbolize the class of 2024's commitment to continuing the work of those who have gone before us. May it symbolize our commitment to pursuing and protecting liberty, so that when we depart from thee, serving on land or sea, may we stand loyal be, West Point, to thee.
I feel inspired and a bit emotional as well. My grandfather was my inspiration to serve. He emphasized the value of this institution and the need to serve others. And having the gold from his ring in mine will just carry forward his legacy and give me strength when I need it most.
Having a ring that I'm going to wear that has people's stories and will allow us to remember their sacrifice will help us keep them alive. So I know when I get that ring, every time I look at it or feel it or think about it, I'll be thinking about everyone that came before me, which is the Long Gray Line.
Vietnam, and I was talking to the 66 grads about that a little bit and how courageous they must have been graduating from here and courageous to even come here. But they were often talking about, no, we wanted to be here. We wanted to be here. And so that urgency and seeing them here to talk about that urgency they had to defend their country, defend their freedom, defend their rights, but then also the urgency they had to be there for each other and the urgency they had to live up to the values of the Long Gray Line, I think is what really stood out to me.
The West Point Association of Graduates and the United States Corps of Cadets extends their profound gratitude to the class of 1966 for their generous gift endowment, ensuring that the Class Ring Memorial Program will continue in perpetuity for future generations of the Long Gray Line. This significant legacy endowment, created in memory of the fallen brothers of the class of 1966, serves to honor their service, sacrifice, and valor.